Okay, welcome everybody to our webinar today. Myself, Lee Goldstein, and Right Line Trading with Rory. We will be getting going right this second. Now, Rory's just going to check. There's a new version of GoToWebinar, and I can't see any questions. I can't see the chat. So please, if you have any questions, um, email me at help@10minutetrades.com. I'm going to start my webinar. I've got a really good presentation today, something very different than what I normally do. So let's get started. I want to talk about all of our best trading tools that we use at 10 Minute Trades for 2026, our templates, our reversals, our signals in our software, all of our strategies. I'm going to give you all a ton of free tools that will help you to be a more successful trader, no matter whose trading system you use. Obviously, if you use ours or if you use Rightline, all of these tools are going to be an extra special bonus. But these are the tools that, especially at 10 Minute Trades, we're using in 2026 to help manage our trades, enter our trades. Let me get started because I've really worked hard on this and I'm really excited to show you all a lot of this info. My name is Lee Goldstein. I'm the trading director for 10 Minute Trades. Please remember all the trades we discuss are for educational purposes. Now, I do want to say something that's important. Because they made this change to GoToWebinar, my plan had originally been that I was going to include a whole bunch of links while I'm giving the webinar. I was going to give you the link, and you'll see what I mean. I have a link for our pre-trade checklist. I've got links for some of our tools that we use. So don't worry that you don't have the link immediately. When I'm done today, I'll send as part of my end of the webinar email, I'll make sure that I include a list of all the important links that I was going to give everyone during the webinar. So don't worry. If you have a recording of this webinar also, you'll see a lot of the links as well. So just as a reminder, we trade a system called the appointment-based trading system, ABT, event-based trading, news trading, whatever you want to call it. Most people used to call it news trading. We call it appointment-based trading these days, and we're trading events on a schedule. We use the NinjaTrader platform and we use futures. So obviously, if I talk about trading stock earnings, we devised a methodology to trade futures. So keep that in mind. We're not trading options. We're not trading stocks. We are actually trading futures. All right. At 10 Minute Trades, we have a system. We have major elements that make up our system. As a reminder, you can trade in a prop account. A lot of people email me all the time and say, "Oh, man, you can't trade news in a prop account. They have too many rules." Well, look, there's so many prop companies these days. Many of them let you trade news. Some of them don't. So you've got to be aware of the rules of the prop account that you're using. We're currently using Bullenox, Bulenox. They allow us to trade the way that we want. We use Lucid. Our members are taking payouts from Bullenox, from Lucid, Lilu. There's many good prop account companies that let you trade news. They let you do spike trades. They let you do breakouts. The big and most important, one of the most important issues when you're trading in a prop account is consistency. Don't have $1,000 trade and then a $20 trade winner and then a $100 winner and then a $2,000 winner. Try to keep your trading consistent. Most of the companies have a 30% consistency rule. So you don't want to all of a sudden have much larger profits on variable trades. In other words, if you have a $200 trade, then a 250, then a 180, then a 350, and then all of a sudden 5,000, 7,000, that's going to create consistency problems. So keep that rule in mind. It's very important, but absolutely unequivocally, you can trade the way that we trade news trading in prop accounts. Just make sure you know which ones allow it. The elements of our system are as followed. We have a weekly schedule. Every week, We send our members our weekly schedule because we trade on a schedule. And our weekly schedule is free. And that's going to be the first link, 10minutetrades.com. If you go to our website and you opt in for our free video, how to find your own 10-minute trades, well, we'll send you our weekly schedule. Why might you want to get our weekly schedule? It's really simple, but if you know when the market is going to move, then you will be careful about your discretionary trading or your scalping. If you're taking a scalp on the NQ and there's a news report coming out that's going to move the NQ, you want to be aware of those reports. So if you learn to read our weekly schedule, which is very simple, it shows you the time of the event. It shows you, if you're a member, when our trade room is going to be open. It shows you the specific event we're trading, and it shows the instrument we're considering, whether or not we're streaming on YouTube. Might be a low liquidity event. You might want to be careful. And then we have something we call watch. The watch alert is sometimes it's a trade or an event we just started watching. We may not have a setup for it yet. It may be an event that has gone down in its performance quality. So we're watching it to see if it's trading better. Watch means a variety of things. It might mean it's a new report, a new event that we're watching. But it just means that you just don't go right into the setup, trading it without thinking about it. And in fact, you want to always be thinking about what you're doing. Trading is serious. No one's going to make it easy for you to take money from the market. Then we have the Daily Market Mover. That's a report that we create to help our members trade a specific event. I'll show you a Daily Market Mover in a moment. We have trade room access, of course. That's an important element in our system, maybe the most important other than software. Our software is 3 strategies. They install into NinjaTrader, the platform, and become a part of the platform. I'm going to show you all about our strategies in a minute. We have the News Trader strategy, Magnet Trade 2.0 now. We just released it about a month ago, and our trap trade specialized reversal strategy. We took a trap trade this morning and we made $200 trading, what was it, revised preliminary University of Michigan. Why don't I show you a quick trap trade? Because all I want to do today is show you the tools we use. And of course, one of the most important tools we use is our software. Now, software isn't free, but many of the tools I am going to show you are free. 10 o'clock was the time of this event. We studied this event, and this is our DMM, our daily report. So yesterday, we sent this report to our members, and it has 2 different setups, 2 different ways that we were trading this event. One of them at the bottom is a trap trade. We expected this event to reverse. And when it reversed, that's when we made our money. And that's exactly what it did. So let me show you how a trap trade works. Right before 10 o'clock, we got ready to put our orders on the chart. We were trading the ES futures. I was also watching the gold futures on the right. We made a decision, do not trade the gold futures, because for the past 6 months, trading the gold futures on this event has been very unprofitable. It's only worked 1 time in 6 months. We study the events so that we know what we want to do before we get to the trade room more often than not. On a specific event, like the jobs report, preliminary university, unemployment claims, we know what we're going to do before the event. There's also trading around the news, trading after the news. We have tools for that, and I'll show you some of those. But right now, this is the trap trade. It's a specialized reversal. 2 orders get placed above the orange arrow, which is current price. 2 orders get placed below the arrow. If the market goes up after the news is released, we short it, we sell it. If the market goes down, we buy the market. and we make our profit when it changes direction. So if the market goes up and we sell it, we want to make our profit after it's done going up. That's what a trap trade does. That's exactly what happened this morning. So we were trading, it's called Preliminary University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment. If you notice, the price popped up, it went through our order, and it put me in the market short. Now I'm waiting for a reversal. The market immediately started reversing. I was able to get rid of my extra order that didn't fill. I moved my stop to safety and I waited. If the market would continue down, I would keep trailing and make more and more money. If it reverses on me, I've guaranteed myself a profit because look where my stop is. It's in profit. It's lower than where I entered and I was short. When the trade was over and it only took a few seconds, maybe 30, 45 seconds, I was able to trail a little bit and then the market popped up, took me out a $200 winner in 35 seconds. That was a trap trade. That's one of our strategies. We study the event, and if the event has a history of reversing quickly after the news is released in a tradable way, that's very important, in a tradable way, then we set up a trap trade and we teach our members how to do this reversal trade. This morning, like I said, we had a very nice little profit of $200 on Preliminary University of Michigan. So those are all of our elements in our system. One more time, the weekly schedule, daily trade report, trade room access, software. Our weekly schedule, as I showed you before, trigger time is the time of the event we're trading, when our trade room opens, the name of the event, the instrument we're trading. Do we have a trade report for this event? And some notes. That's our weekly schedule. The daily schedule, the daily market mover, which is a trade action report, has a yellow line in the middle or a yellow line towards the top of the setup. That's actually the way that we're going to trade it right when we get to the trade room. If there's a tweet, if there's something crazy that took place in the market, the reason the trade room is so important because it's possible we might modify the way we trade because of things that are going on in the market right before an event. Sometimes when we've seen it in these war-oriented markets, we've seen events that we recommended that we don't trade because there was so much volatility because of a comment or a tweet or something that a government has just said. And that's very important. It brings up another very important tool that we use. If you are trading news, even if you're not trading news, if you're trading at all, I truly believe that one of the most important tools you should start using is something called Financial Juice Pro. Financial Juice Pro is a news squawk box. I'm going to show it to you. We subscribe to Financial Juice Pro. Not only is it a news squawk box, so what that means is I hear the news results in my head. When Trump tweets, that tweet is instantly reported in their news feed. Also, it's a calendar. If the Iranian government makes an announcement, it's immediately in this news feed. So, Financial Juice Pro, one of the important calendar tweet news squawk boxes, whatever you want to call it, that we use. So I highly recommend that everybody check it out. It's an excellent product, one of my favorite tools. So an appointment-based trading system, it's a method, it's simple, it's time-based, and very important, we're pre-planning everything that we do. That doesn't mean we don't have discretionary trades. That doesn't mean we don't scalp. That doesn't mean that we only trade at the exact moment of a report or an event. Years ago, that is actually what we did. We traded a spike trade or a trap trade, and that was it. That's all we had in our repertoire. We've been doing this now, though, for almost 10 years. I've been doing this with 10-minute trades for 9 years. I've been updating and redoing the software, improving the software, adding new features to the software. When I first started, we were on Trap Trade version 1, and now we're on a new version of every product every strategy that we have. We just released our magnet strategy. We have a signal generation system. Our software can trade discretionary. It can be automated. It can be semi-automated. It's a fantastic tool for trading any way that anyone likes to trade. You can do appointment-based trading, discretionary trading. So I just want to make people aware that we are not the same as we were even 3 years ago. We have a lot of new ways of trading. That doesn't mean it's confusing, and that doesn't mean you can't figure out what to do. It's the reason why trade rooms are so important, because that's where we communicate and teach all about using our software. And great software helps you to control your risk. It allows for the safest setups available. And the other key is let's trade the best performing events. If like this morning, that preliminary University of Michigan was not performing well with gold, we simulated the gold trade. It would have been a loser, but we made money on the ES with a different setup. So it's very important to analyze and to pay attention to previous behavior when you're trading the news. Our software strategies are custom add-ons to the NinjaTrader platform. They have multiple setups and they can automate or semi-automate your trade, your entries, your targets and stops. And our software is a super ATM, an automated trade manager. Like I said, you can have stops, you can have trailing stops, you can move your targets, you can move your target if you can move your stop if you hit your first target. You can move your stop if you hit your second target. Our software allows up to 3 position trades, and all of that is controllable by you. So for instance, let me show you what I mean when I say controllable by you. So I'm out of my slideshow for a second. This is the real NinjaTrader. We installed our software. If you just right click up, you know what? I can't believe I don't have the control that I need in GoToWebinar. I'm not going to be able to show you this the way I wanted to show you. Unless, give me a second. Maybe I have to turn my mouse on. Oh my God. If I don't have the ability to control all of this, I don't know what I'm going to be able to do here, folks. So I'm not able to choose anything. So that is an issue. All right, you can see my charts, right? I hope you can see my charts. So something is up with, unfortunately, with GoToWebinar where I can't do this the way that I wanted to do it. So I'm just going to go through my slides and explain things for you. And it's unfortunate. I'll have to send an email, adding some of the things that I can't show. I can't believe that I don't have the ability to use my charts. And I don't know, Rory, if you can tell me something by text, but I don't have the ability to do anything except show my charts. I can't manipulate anything. It's crazy. Anyway, okay, that's all right. I'll show my slides. No problem. We had no idea, folks, that they made this change to GoToWebinar. So it is what it is. Let me go back to my slides. Um, what I was going to show you our software and how it opens up into a various setup. So let me show you the trap trade I took this morning, and I think in a video I can show you what I'm talking about. So let me grab that trade I just showed you, and just if you'll just bear with me, I'm going to really have to wing it. So this is a video of what we did in our trade room this morning. When you right click on the chart, you get an option to choose strategies. What I was going to show everybody is when you do that, you then have the ability to choose all our software. Separate strategies. We have a trap trade, we have the magnet strategy, and we have News Trader. Inside of the News Trader, we have a breakout trade, a range trade, and a reverse continuation trade. Different setups for different times of day, different events, and for different markets. So that's what I was going to show you just now, how our software opens up into different setups and different strategies. All right, so let me go back to my current slides. So as I was saying, we have the ability to automate or semi-automate our trades. Now, with the events that we trade, there are three categories. And within the three categories of events that we look at, there are hundreds of different events that we can trade. The categories are high impact economic reports, big company earning reports, and market open and closes. There's hundreds of triggers, hundreds of events within these categories that you can pick and choose to fit your schedule. Where do we find our events? We find our events on the free calendars. One of the major calendars we use is Forex Factory. When you go to Forex Factory and you pick calendar, it then gives you a listing of a week's full of events that you can scroll through. We vet all these events. We test them, we trade them, and over the years we have data on which are the best of these events to trade. So we use Forex Factory, we use investing.com, tradingeconomics.com, and financialjuice.com. That's where we find our events. So that's obviously tools that are important. You got to find your events. It's vital. Now, for successful trading, there are things you can do actually even before you trade. One of the things that we teach our members, and we just started using this free tool, Microsoft, I'm sure that you've seen CC Cleaner and all sorts of various optimization tools that you don't really know what to do with them. And you know, people don't want to pay for everything, but the PC Manager from Microsoft is free. And you can call up the PC Manager by just clicking on your taskbar. When you click on your taskbar, you get the search bar. If in the search bar you just type PC Manager, what will come up, let's see if I can show you this, what will come up is an app that says PC Manager. Now, hopefully I can show this good. If you click on the PC Manager, it opens it up so you can see all of this data. Now, I can't really expand this screen. I hope everyone can see it fine. So there's a couple of things that we use to help to optimize our computer for free. The first thing that I use is a deep cleanup. That gets rid of a lot of unnecessary files. So what you'll see is the deep cleanup, and it'll tell you how much gigabytes of wasted data there is, and it'll show you what those items are. There might be a gig worth of system items you don't need. What I find works perfectly is I literally check almost everything, and I let PC Manager just clean off all the unnecessary files. You just click proceed. It takes about a minute, and it cleans up, gets rid of all sorts of unnecessary files on your machine. Then what I do is I'll also boost my memory, and I'll boost the memory. It speeds up the computer a little bit. It's really in the background that works. You don't see it happen in real life. So PC Manager is a free optimization program that you can use with your PC. It comes with Windows, and it's a great little tool. I use it once a week to clean off unnecessary files. Normally, I would reboot after I use a tool like that. So PC Manager, a free optimizer, that's a tool that I use regularly. Now, for successful trading, chart setup is absolutely critical. Now, I'm going to try and see if I can move my NinjaTrader, I'm going to close my NinjaTrader. And bear with me for 1 second, folks. I'm going to see if I can get rid of my NinjaTrader or create a chart that I can do. Hey, all of a sudden I can do something with this chart. Okay, I think I have a solution. So I have a chart here that looks like I can use. Okay, I don't know why the other chart's not working, and I hope everybody can see this chart. So this particular chart, remember I was saying you can right-click the chart, click on strategies, and now you can see all the various strategies that make up our software. If you double-click on NewsTrader, I'm going to try and make this a little bit bigger if I can. Double-click on NewsTrader. And these are the items that I can adjust in the software. But I don't have to adjust hardly any of them. But these are my setups. I've got a breakout trade, a range trade, and a reverse continue. Now, chart setup is the most important thing for trading the way that we trade. We have a magnet trade that exits trades when it hits a very important level, the magnet. High of day, low of day. We also have a fantastic scalping system that we call reverse continue. So I'm going to show you our tool in our software called the reverse continue setup. When I right click the chart, I double click NewsTrader, and up at the top I change my breakout trade to reverse continue. Then all I need for a simple reverse continue trade is a number of positions, how many contracts, what's the target going to be? Maybe I'll use a 50-tick target. What's my stop? Maybe I'll use a 50-tick stop. And I label every trade, so I'm going to call this a reverse continue. All right. And I choose the account I'm trading it in. This is in sim because I'm not trading live now, especially with my charts not working, the way I want everything working. And then you make sure that you put your account on sim. Now, everything is kind of whacked out on my computer, I'm sorry to say. But then when I press the enable button, a reverse continue setup will be on my chart. So let me show you a real reversal continuation trade that I took this week. So give me a second. This is not how I was planning to do this, so I do apologize that this is very, very imperfect. So we had our first trade that took place in the market. And then after the trade took place, we set up a reverse continuation. A reverse continuation allows us to have a stop and a target. And we can manage the trade by moving the orders on the chart up and down. Let me show you a better reverse continue than that one. I have a slightly better one. Let's see if I can grab it here. One more try. So we traded IBM. We made money on IBM earnings. Then after IBM earnings, we traded a reverse continuation and we traded towards the low. So that's what this setup on the left is. When I clicked an instant long or an instant short button on our chart, it put me in the trade. You could see up top here, I'm pressing the instant short button and it puts my reverse continue on as a scalp, but a safe scalp with a stop immediately and a target. And then I can move my target. I could make it bigger if the market goes in my direction. And I have a stop, so if the trade doesn't work, I get taken out with a reasonable amount of loss, not an out of control loss, even though I'm scalping. So watch what happened in this trade. Eventually, I was able to move my stop into a safe position where I was in profit and making more profit as the trade moved in my favor. So we have a setup in our software called the reverse continuation setup. And that setup allows me to set up a discretionary trade for instant trading. Let me see if I can get my Ninja, my connections to work. See, my connections were not connected. So beautiful. I'm able to get most of this stuff going, folks. So let me show you in real life now on a real account, real sim though. I had put on a reverse continue. So there's my long and short button right here. If I wanted to go long this market, I would just press the instant long button. If I think this market is short, I would press the instant short button. And you can see what happens. My software puts a stop. If I'm short, it puts it above me and it puts my target below me. Maybe I think my target should be right above the VWAP. So that's where I would make my target. Reverse continue allows you to trade almost any market in almost any setup, and you can be discretionary should you choose. Now, obviously, what are you going to do if you don't have your charts set up the right way for trading? So for us, the most important thing, and for any mentor, any system, having your chart set up the right way is key. So when members join our service, we send them a template. Years ago, not even years ago, 6 months ago, we used to have a setup. Let me show you. I'll go back to my slides for a minute. We always show our members how to set their slides up, how to set their charts up. On our charts, we have indicators, the current day open, high, low, pivots, order flow VWAP, volume up and down, net change display, and squeeze. I'll tell you, for many, many trading systems, you don't need a whole heck of a lot more than this. So in the past, if we wanted to set up our charts, we had to do it manually. You had to use NinjaTrader to put each individual indicator on the chart. So I have a link for everyone for a video on how to set your charts up exactly like ours. And I will send that link to everybody in the email later on today. Because I think everybody should know how to do it, even if you're not doing it that way anymore. So why are you not doing it that way anymore? Because now we send our members a template. That template has every indicator that we use on the chart. It has the pivots. It has the highs of days and the lows of days. It has the VWAP. And if you are not a lifetime NinjaTrader subscriber, you need a VWAP, because if you're not lifetime, their VWAP is not available. We have a VWAP that we include for you if you're not a lifetime subscriber. We also have a custom squeeze that we use to help us with direction. And like I said, we have the pivots and we have something called the net change display. But here's the key. We teach our members what to do with the template we send them. So we send you a template in an email. It's just one little tiny file. You put it on your desktop. And then here is how you trade and share templates with NinjaTrader. You click on the document folder. You click on NinjaTrader 8. You click on templates, and that's the key. Now you can put strategy templates in the strategy folders, but we're talking chart templates. So you take our template, you click on the chart template, and all you do is paste it into that folder, the chart template folder. The template is named Magnet 2.0. So we teach you to install a new chart. So you go to new, you go to chart, and a new chart starts to create. And this is the standard, how do I set up a chart in NinjaTrader? You choose the instrument that you're going to use. So for instance, let's say the ES because it's right there. And all you do is use the default settings. Trading hours is a very, very important setting for us. So we tell everyone to check that it's on instrument, use instrument settings. And we don't want more than 5 days of data to load. One of the key things we teach, one of the reasons we showed you the PC Manager optimization is you don't want to load 50 to 100 days of data into your Ninja. You don't want to slow down your Ninja while you're trading events, while you're trying to get good fills. You want to be smooth running and you want to be optimized. So you don't want to load 500 days of data. So standard default new chart, you just okay it, and then it opens up a brand new chart. All right. Remember I said, how do we get your brand new chart to be just like ours? All you have to do is right click the chart, go to the word template, load Magnet 2.0, and now every indicator that we were talking about is now in your chart. All you have to do, hold down the left mouse button and shrink it a little bit, hold down the left mouse button at the time and shrink it a little bit, make the chart, manageable. Then you're going to hold down the left mouse button on your border between your volume indicator and the chart. You're going to do the same thing with the squeeze and the volume indicator. All you got to do is shrink everything down a little bit. I'm going to shrink my chart trader a tiny bit also. I now have a perfect trading chart exactly like ours, all set and ready to go for the magnet trade, for high of day, low of day trading, for news trading. It took us what? Less than a minute to set everything up to trade the way that we trade. And or if you like our charts, if you like the clarity of these charts, loading our template was simple as pie. You now have all of our indicators that we recommend for using. Here's the free VWAP. And the key, the most important reason we originally came out with this template was, besides just trading all of our normal setups more clearly, it is vital for our magnet trading. Our magnet trading is a system that we designed to exit the market when a magnet gets hit. So what's a magnet? A magnet is an area on the chart where many, many, many traders put their orders, and those areas act as areas that pull in the price. The VWAP is a magnet. Look at the high of day right now. This green line is the high of day. It's just pulling the price to it over and over and over throughout the day. The high of day gets tested. So magnets are areas on every chart. Magnets are every instrument, every time frame, any way that you want to trade a magnet you can, but they are areas on a chart that attract price, and we are exiting at the magnets. Now, I'm not giving a whole magnet trade webinar today because we've done that many times in the past, but our charts allow you to trade these magnets over and over. We trade them all the time, and our members love them. They are constantly being tested. It's a whole method of trading. And we also, within our magnet trading system, we have a signal generating system. Let me change to the MNQ because the MNQ tends to generate quite a few signals. Now these markets, I cannot believe how bullish these markets are. It's unbelievable. So if I turn on, let's put the magnet on this particular chart. So this is a brand new chart. So I'm going to right click, click strategy, double click magnet, and this is how fast I can set up a magnet trade. I'm going to turn on the magnet high of day, low of day. All I have to type in is how many contracts do I want to trade? So maybe I want to trade 2. And what my stop is. My target is automatic because it's going to exit at the magnet, right? And I'll explain what I mean real quick. And then all I have to do is label the trade. It's an MNQ magnet, and choose the account that I'm trading in. I apply it, okay it. When I turn on the magnet in the control center, MNQ magnet, let me find the right one. Here we go. I'm going to get my orders showing up. Now, I'm getting my purple dot, my purple screen there, because the high of day, low of day would be getting hit right about now. It just finished making a high of day, low of day. It made many high of day, lows of days. And we have signal generation. When a when an instrument is making highs and lows, you don't just automatically jump into signals. You have to be careful about what the market's doing. Signals are much better when you're done after 5 or 6 new highs and new lows. So we do have ways of filtering the signals. I'm not going into everything that I said we're doing. I just wanted to show you some of our popular tools today. Not necessarily all the tools explained down to the nitty gritty. We have separate webinars that will go much, much more in depth for you. And in fact, one of the things you can check is our YouTube channel for going over in depth a lot of the subjects I'm covering right now. Let me give you an idea, though, of what we mean by very, very clear signals. You're looking for the best of the best signals. And a lot of times we'll trade an event and then a level will be touched, a level will be tested, and then a signal will get generated. This was a VWAP signal. Watch this signal. This was a perfect signal. The VWAP was tested. Our software decided I want to put a signal there. One long signal, quite a lot of profit. That's what I mean when I say that one of our favorite tools is our signal trading system. Also, because this is a video of the market open, and it was this week, we were trading the RTY range trade. One of our tools and one of the things we teach over and over is the range trade and how we use it on market opens. We have a 5-minute range trade that we teach members how to use. One of our members designed this trade. It's a fabulous trade, and we've been trading it in our trade room. After 5 minutes, our software puts orders on the chart. We don't pay attention to signals right at the open. All right, there's our orders, those X's. The market took about 50 seconds that morning, and then our order was filled and we were put in the market short. The RTY almost stopped us out by a couple of ticks, and then it changed direction, hit the first order. I trailed, and then I was able to keep trailing and expand my target and expand my profit until it pulled back against me. It was a much better opening trade than it would have been had I not managed it. And those are the things that we teach, how to use the various tools to manage and trade to make more and more profit than you might make if you just let the trade sit there. All right, so setting up your charts, easy, use the template. Don't miss the trade. We teach our members how to make sure their computers are in sync. So think about this, everybody. When we trade, for instance, the jobs report, all right? I have a video, not this morning's jobs report because I haven't done all my videos yet for the webinar, but last month, let me see if it almost doesn't matter what video I show you, but we trade breakouts. A breakout is we are putting our orders on the chart, and if you're 2 seconds late, then your trade could be ruined. In other words, you want your computer exactly in sync to the world clocks, because if the government is releasing a report, they're doing it in sync. So for instance, we were trading the oil open. Our setup is to the second. It's to the second. Right at 9 o'clock, 1 second before, our orders go on the chart. What if your computer is not in sync and your orders all go on the chart 10 seconds late? You'll miss the trade. So we have a couple of different tools. We have a tool called Dimension 4. It's a sync program. And I was going to give you that link right now, but I'll email it instead. You download Dimension 4. Dimension 4 is a simple syncing program. And the way that it works is it just opens up a very simple little file that looks like this. It has a Sync Now button. You press the Sync Now button a couple of times while you're watching the Synchronized button. All right? And when the Synchronized button moves, it tells you your computer has been put in sync. But how do you know if your computer is in sync or if it's not? So another thing that we give our members, and I'll send everybody a link for this, is our pre-trade checklist. On our pre-trade checklist, we have a website, www.time.is. When you go there, it checks your computer to see if it's in proper sync. If it's in proper sync, it just says time is exact, and you don't have to do anything else. If your computer is not in proper sync, then you go back to that little screen that I showed you and you press the Sync Now button a couple of times until you see the synchronized button change. Once that button changes, then, very important, from a fresh new browser, you go to www.time.is. And 9 times out of 10, if your computer was out of sync, it will now put your computer in sync and it will test it and show you that it's in sync. I've never had a situation, never, where somebody could not get their computer in sync using our D4 Time. We have one other tool called Karen's Time Sync. Either one of those, we've never had someone not be able to do it. So we have a link for D4 Time for you. We have our pre-trade checklist, and a pre-trade checklist, this is good for any system because it just tells you to check all of the things you would want to check before your trade. You're checking to make sure your symbol's correct, your time frame, the type of trade you're taking. Maybe it's a scalp, maybe it's not. You're checking margins if you're a cash trader. All of the things you want to check carefully before you trade. So when you press that trade button, you don't make a mistake that costs you money. Like I said before, trading is not simple. You want to do things the right way. So we have a link if you want to look at our pre-trade checklist. It's free. One of the other things we have that we love is our clock. We love Topmost Clock. So what do I mean? What is Topmost Clock? Let's see if I can get it working on this. Here we go. So notice that for me to get Topmost Clock working, all I had to do was click my taskbar. Now you can't see my taskbar because it's not in this video. But the taskbar obviously is at the very bottom of your screen, and my Topmost Clock is pinned to the taskbar. So we send our members a link for Topmost Clock. If you hold your left mouse button, you can move the clock. If you hold and click your right, if you click your right mouse button, you can close the clock. If you pin it to the taskbar after you install it, all you have to do is click the icon on the taskbar and it will bring the clock back up. If you right click in the dead center, you can change the size of the clock. You can change the colors, etc., etc. Simple configuration, but the important thing is when we're getting ready to take a trade a couple of seconds before the event, we want to know when our software is getting ready to activate. This clock is a critical part of our trading. As simple as it is, it's a critical part of our trading, and that's a free tool that we're going to give to you. Also, we love our free tools, and we have tons of them. So I showed you our reverse continue. I showed you our ARS signal, right? I love when an ARS signal is clearly the right signal to take, like I showed you in that little video. And I'll show it once again because it is such an excellent signal. Let me close our clock, and I think we can see it. Maybe we can see it. Let me get the right video. It always helps if you have the right video, doesn't it? Let's see if I can get that right video. Give me 2 seconds. If I don't have it in 1 second, I'm just going to, here we go. I have so many videos on my desktop. So we finished trading one setup, and then we went and we were testing the VWAP on the YM. We got a signal to go long. That we call the ARS an ARS signal. Had you gone long, you had a very, very nice amount of profit that you could take. We also had a magnet trade. If you notice, we were also trading a magnet. Remember what I said about what a magnet is. A magnet is a test of the high of day or the low of day. We're exiting for a profit at that level, at that magnet. And that was a magnet trade that hit the level. It hits the high of day right there. That is a profitable magnet trade because we entered where that heavy line is and we exit at the magnet. So these are tools and methods that we use to trade. Let me go back to my slides because I've got more free tools for you. All right, ARS signal we showed you. One of our best trades, one of our best trading tools, I've already shown you, our range trade. Our range trade we use to trade the RTY open every morning. And it's a great trade. It's an absolutely excellent, excellent trade that we've been using for months. Here's the RTY all the way on the right. We wait every morning until 9:30 for the open to take place. Let me see if this video has the open right here. We had a pretty big range that morning, but I just basically leave this setup alone because it's been doing so well. It put my orders on the chart. It's done. That was a winning trade. You see how fast it went through all those orders? And then it was a magnet. Had you been also trading a magnet, which you could have done, it tested the high. Magnets help that range trade be successful. It pulled the market up because the market was bullish, and that's one of the great things about our range trade. We also use our range trade to trade earnings. It's a way that we can put an order on the chart at a time and then wait a few seconds for the earnings to come out. And we trade many of our morning trades using a range trade. This week we traded McDonald's for a small profit using our range trade. Let me see if I have the video handy. I should. Give me half a second here. We traded McDonald's with our range trade. Now, our range trade is our software, so it's not a free tool, but many of the tools that I showed you this morning are free. And I'm going to give you some of them today. So McDonald's, we made $85 trading the range. I know what happened. I did not have the video. So I didn't make a video that morning on McDonald's. But if you see the setup, here's the winning candle. That was the earnings. And it was that pop up. It burst through our range, just like the RTY trade. And that's what gave us our profit. It burst through the range. Let me just see, because I'm so stubborn, if I have one other range trade here. Bear with me half a second if I can't find it fast. I'm not seeing it fast, so I'm just going to keep going through my slides because I want to make sure you see almost all of the tools that I want to include. All right. So range trades, that's part of our software. More trading tools that we use. One of our favorite tools for helping us to vet trades is the pencil and the ruler. It's so simple, such a simple concept. Here's what we do. A lot of times you'll be in a market and there will be an event that takes place. That event will cause a spike in the market. So before a trade, we often study all of these events, like I said, and we create something called a spike sheet. We send our members a spike sheet before many of the trades. We discuss them in the trade room. So for instance, we have a setup for the jobs report. We have the ES, and we made a spike sheet for the ES. Let me show you what it is, because if you know how to make a spike sheet, and it's so easy, all that a spike sheet does is it tracks each date of the event and how much it spiked on the news when the news was released. So we have a setup that we use the ES. All right, we're trading the ES. The ES spiked 75 ticks of profit last April. Last March, it spiked 100 ticks of profit, 45 ticks in February, to only 10 in January. It might not have filled our trade, but 80 in December, 80 in November. So we create a breakout trade where we might have a bracket of 30 or 35 ticks, which left 45 ticks of profit, 65 ticks of profit if it moves 100. So the point of the spike sheet is you make a chart of all the spikes that an event you want to trade has spiked. And how do you find that spike? It's so simple. At the top of every chart is the pencil. You click the pencil, click the ruler, and then if your time of your trade is 12:40, then your spike candle on a 1 minute chart will be the next candle over. So let's make believe this big candle was our spike candle. So I click pencil, I click ruler, I hold my left mouse button, and then I just let it go and I trace to the bottom of the candle. I move over so I can read the box, and the value at the bottom, the Y value, is 27. That was a 27 tick spike on the move. If that was the candle right after the news on a 1 minute chart, so for instance, 12:30, this is my spike candle. 12:31, ruler, pencil and ruler. Here's how I create the spike sheet. Just measure the spike. It's so simple. This particular event would have been a 19 tick spike. Start creating your spike report. The way that you go back in time is you use the feature in NinjaTrader called NinjaTrader Playback. On our website, we have probably 4 or 5 videos on how to do NinjaTrader Playback. So I'm not going to teach NinjaTrader Playback today, but using the pencil and the ruler, using the spike sheet, and using NinjaTrader Playback, you now have a system for vetting any trade that you want to vet, going back in time to test the way it traded previously and find the best setups to trade. You have your clock, you've got your ruler, you've got your pencil, you've got your spike sheet. You now know how to test trades, you know how to design trades, you create your spike sheets, and you can keep yourself safe. One more thing, folks, and then I'm going to make a fantastic offer to everybody. We do a lot of earnings trades. We had a phenomenal AMD earnings trade this week. Some of you knew this was the trade I was going to show today. Very honestly, this was a tough earnings quarter. It was one of our tougher earnings quarters. Very often we have a ton of winning trades. The war is creating a little bit of havoc. We had a couple of losers this quarter, but AMD made up for it because AMD was phenomenal. Now, we vet AMD. We study AMD. We've been trading AMD for years. We know what time they release their earnings. We use earningwhispers.com, that website, to help us find the stocks we're going to trade. There's a couple of rules that we follow. They have to have billions of dollars in revenue. They have to be a stock that moves the markets when their earnings are released, so it has to be a reasonably expensive stock. And that's some of the main rules we use to find that trade. AMD, our orders went on the chart. Their earnings came out. It was a spectacular, perfect breakout trade. In our prop account, we made over $1,000 on that trade, literally in 1 second. That's the trade. It's over $1,000, $1,100 in profit. It was a perfect trade. But how did we find it? We found it. We go to Earnings Whispers. Earnings Whispers has greatest hits along the top. But very simply, you go to their calendar for next week, you go to Monday, and it shows you after the close. If you click this little control panel, it shows you all of the events before the close. You can see their revenues. You can look at the companies that have billions in revenues. You could click on it, and you can see how expensive the stock price is also. If it's a $30 or $40 stock, we're not that interested. So we're looking for revenue, we're looking for billions in revenue, and we're looking for over $100 in stock price. And Even more important, we're looking for companies that release their earnings the same time every quarter and very close to the time they say they're going to release it in the news. So in other words, AMD says they're going to release their earnings at 4:15. That's when we expect those earnings to be released and to come out. And we can check on Earnings Whispers. How did they do the last quarter? It shows up on Earnings Whispers. They were on time last quarter. So very important. There's one other tool that we use in our earnings trades. I want to show it to you. I'll show it to you in a video though, because it'll be a little bit quicker. For $50, you can open a Thinkorswim account. And Thinkorswim has a widget, a news trading widget that is worth its weight in gold. And it looks like this. And you can have multiple news widgets open at one time. The reason it's important is sometimes you're not sure exactly when earnings are released, especially if there's multiple companies releasing their earnings all at the same time. Sometimes you might have two companies that move the same market on their earnings. So it's important to use this news trading widget. And it costs $50 for a lifetime use of the widget because Thinkorswim.com, that's what they charge to use their tools. Live futures and stock data, very, very helpful. One final tool that we use for trading earnings is TradingView Free. TradingView Free has a fantastic feature. And one of their features, and this is the last thing I'm going to show you, one of their great features is if you don't know what instrument to trade on a stock, and I'm going to show it to you slightly differently because it'll be quicker. If you just type in the symbol into TradingView, so let's say it's McDonald's, what instrument should I trade? McDonald's is the NYSE. That's what it shows. If it was Apple, it would say the NAS. Apple's a NASDAQ stock. IBM. Not Apple, IBM, but IBM. So TradingView Free helps you to figure out what instrument you're going to use to trade on earnings. Nothing is simple at times unless you have the right tools that make it simple for you to use. So folks, I had one other great thing that I wanted to show everyone, creating a rollover volume template. And what I'm going to do is include that in the email that I send. But one of the most important things that we do with NinjaTrader is we have a volume template, and it shows you what and if a contract is safe and correct to trade. So we open the market analyzer real quickly, right? When you open the market analyzer and you go to columns and rows, you can configure a rollover volume template in about a minute by just only putting on the sheet the instrument, the daily volume, and the days until rollover. Then you'll always know the correct instrument. You can add any instrument to this little template, and it shows you, is that instrument current? When is it rolling over? And that's very important so you don't accidentally trade the wrong contract. You might be near rollover and the volume may be all screwed up on one of your contracts. So we have a template that we saved, and you can call that template up with NinjaTrader and you can save it. And most templates get saved in the template area, all right? And then remember what I showed you before. You went onto your PC into your document folder. And when you want to share templates with other people, you click Documents, NinjaTrader 8, Templates. And then if you want to share chart templates, you go to the chart folder. If you want to share strategy templates, the way you traded a setup, you go to the strategy folder. And those are the various ways that you share your templates. You just look for them in your different file folders, okay? Very important and useful help if you want to use NinjaTrader to its optimum and help you to be more successful because you're trading everything correctly. All right, everybody. Finally, because it's such a good tip, did you know that you could record your trades for free with the snipping tool? Snipping tool is on your taskbar as part of Windows. If you don't have it installed or you don't know where it is, just go to your search bar on Windows, type snipping, and it will show up. And then on the app, right click it, pin it to your taskbar. When you click the snipping tool, you could record a video, put it on video, or you could record a screenshot. When you press Shift R to start recording, what you do is just outline an area on your chart that you want to record, and it automatically shows you where it's going to save it. But the snipping tool, you press Windows Shift R to start recording. You can create free videos of your trading. We recommend that you record your trading because it helps you to study what you did wrong, what you did right, how to become a better trader. There's also a subscription product, loom.com. They do have a nice free version that you can use as well. So I want to thank everybody. I want to make you a phenomenal offer. I would think that you've got to love all of the things that we offer for free. Can you imagine how much we offer to everyone who's paying to be our member? All the great tools we have in this presentation. Plus, you can join us for all of our news trading events, all of our trade rooms, all of our software, all of our DMM trade reports. You can get a Magnet Trader Master Class, a Magnet Trade Class 2.0, our 2.0 Mini Master Class, our 10-minute trades quick start class, trade room access, all of our reports for the month, software strategies, our pro membership. If you have a question, remember I said before, if you have a question, send me an email, help@10minutetrades.com. Today we're rolling back the prices until Sunday at midnight. Here is what you get, everything that we offer, all of our software, all the breakouts, all the spikes, all the reversal trades, all the range trades, all the market opens, all the magnet strategy setups, our trap trade, appointment-based trading. We will teach you how to do it in our trade room. Learn how to create a schedule, everything that we do. Before I forget, if you join us and you want to quit, all you have to do to cancel is send us an email, help@10minutetrades.com, before your billing period starts. That's our only rule. Everything you get, trade on a schedule, trade selected stock earnings with futures. I will teach you in the trade room. It's easy. All of our software is included, the daily market movers, pro trade room, the trap trade, trade in a prop account. Last year's price until Sunday at midnight, $97 for 30 days. Just go www.thenewstraders.com. What a great URL, www.thenewstraders.com. It'll bring you to this website. Everything that's included, plus all our bonuses, easy enough to sign up for it, folks. www.thenewstraders.com. Expires Sunday at midnight. Go pro, everybody, for $97. It's a steal and a half. One trade can easily pay for everything. If you have a question, just send me an email, help@10minutetrades.com. Go to our YouTube channel if you want to see everything that's going on in our YouTube channel. And also, we have a guarantee you can't lose. We take all the risk. I guarantee that I'll do everything in my power to help you become successful and learn how to do this. But we also have a 60-day money-back action guarantee. Spend 60 days working with me, trade live in the newsroom, real, prop, or simulation, trade live in our trade room, just 3 rooms per week over the next 60 days. If you're not happy, keep a journal of your trades. And then if you're not happy, send us the journal. We'll give you a free refund. 60 days spend with us. It's 2 months. Take action. Learn how to do it. Keep a journal. If after 2 months you're not happy, send us the journal with a note. We'll give you a refund. Everybody, I'm going to end now because I went way past my time because of the minor problem I had. Let me put up the sales page. So go pro for just $97. www.thenewstraders.com.